Hey, it's Topher. This is Geek Public Radio on geekpublicradio.com. How are you guys doing this fine evening? We are live for our members right here on geekpublicradio.com. If not, you are listening to us on Memorex. With me, as always, Crazy Chris.
What is up, everybody? I am Crazy Chris from Sunday Night Madness fame. You guys might know me as the bloke that carries the show. That's my entire job. And like old boy said, if you're not watching us live, then you're listening to us on Memorex. I fully agree. Hopefully, you guys have your memberships, though.
Yes. If you have your memberships, you can do stuff like talk to us on Discord.
That's right. I'm on Discord right now. Where are you at?
So, we have a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to talk about Valheim again. We're going to talk about, what did you say? What was the game you wanted to talk about?
Oh, Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. I'm going to talk a little bit about, there was a new patch update thing for New Worlds. That's massive.
More DLC stuff for Borderlands 3.
And then we have another one to add to the list of MMOs for this year.
A lot of content.
The Mortal. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and since Valheim is you literally walked in on me playing Valheim.
I really did. We've actually been talking about this for a few. So I ended up having to get a new laptop because it wouldn't run Valheim, and I'm wanting to. I mean, it's really what it was. Like I was like, man, and my laptop was 8 years old, so it was time. It was time for me to bite the bullet. That stimmy come through hot.
Stimmy.
I get the stimmer. So I went ahead and just splurged on a new laptop, bought some other stuff, but I'm not going to go into that. It's a kid's show. But yeah, I got me a new laptop. It's an HP gaming laptop. It's not too bad. Most of the reviews on it are actually pretty good. It's just a Pavilion gaming laptop, and I think it's like the 15 series or whatever it is. It's like a 14.1 screen. It's nice. I enjoy it. It's really crisp. It's got this cool little light up keyboard that I can't get to light back up for some reason. I think I accidentally turned it off somehow. I'll figure it out though, and once I do, I'll have a cool light up keyboard again. But I grabbed that for Valheim, and I started playing Valheim last night. I really enjoyed it. I actually have some notes.
You have notes.
I had notes.
You enjoyed it so much you actually took notes.
Well, I want to do a review on it, and within the next few days, you guys can go onto the Geek Public Radio website, geekpublicradio.com, and you guys will be able to check out the review there, where I'll give it a rating out of so many. I don't know if I'm going to go to 5 or 10 yet. I think 10 would be more fair because I think I can be more judicious with my ratings and give it some more thought and a crisper score.
So I will say that the reason you are doing it is because I got lost in.
Yeah, it's because you don't play
building stuff. Like as you can see,
you spend hundreds of hours building stuff and don't actually play the game.
Right, like as you walked in, I had like this 5-bedroom mansion house with like pens and for food and stuff. And
yeah, he's got 4 different houses for food. He's got 3 different houses for livestock. He's got 27 houses for fish.
It's
13 houses for tools.
It is a pain, though, to keep track of where things are.
Yep,
That's the only.
So my notes are pretty simple, and you're going to see me. I actually have paper notes, right? I didn't even put them on a computer. I was so excited. I just wrote them down. So what I initially realized was that the game itself was pretty clunky for me, but I don't PC. I rarely play games on the PC. I typically use them for strategy-type games.
Yeah.
Your Command and Conquers, StarCraft, Warcraft, not the MMO. That's for other people to do. But I also would do, let's see, I said Warcraft, I had StarCraft, XCOM. Like XCOM is a really good one to have on a PC. It looks really pretty. But so it was clunky for me at first. Once I remembered how to start playing and how to like actually move my character and started to get my left hand where I was putting it. Because usually I use my left hand. Yeah, the WASD, yes. I use my left hand to move when I'm holding a controller. But
that's it.
Realistically, that's about all I do with it. I don't, and then I got my trigger buttons. That's pretty much it, and my thumb. So the space bar is natural for me, because it's like I'm clicking L3. But so yeah, it was a little clunky. But the opening cinematic for me, that was like the first thing that stood out.
It was kind of cheesy.
It was super cheesy, but it's really entertaining if you have a dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I do. So I just kept expecting like the squawk, and then just drop. You're on your own.
Deuce out.
So it was pretty cool. The graphics, as we talked about actually previously, you and I in a conversation, we talked about how they're not spectacular.
No.
They're crisp though. Like, it's bizarre the way the setting, it feels, your character and the character designs and renderings and stuff like that don't stand out. Even the monster designs are fairly basic. But the actual world itself is really pretty. The water, like the effects of the water, the sky. That was another thing. Actually,
the skybox in that thing is
so beautiful. It is so cool because it's Valheim, which is based on some Norse mythology. And if you were to look at the sky, you can actually see the branches of the world tree and the different stuff. It's so cool, like remnants of different planets and realms. It's so neat. So that was pretty standoutish for me. The graphics themselves aren't great, but for the setting, I feel like it has worked really well. The gameplay is pretty crisp. Let me see what else that I wrote down. Yeah, you like your standard move and attacks, left mouse, right mouse, stuff like that. The menu system's pretty intuitive. It felt familiar. As soon as I clicked on tab and it brought the menu up, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty self-explanatory. Not everything is that self-explanatory, though. There's a lot of trial by error in that game, which brings me to like
building things,
right?
Yes.
That was not very intuitive for me. And I've played Minecraft 7 Days to Die, most things that incorporate a building mechanic, even your Fallout 76, Fallout 4. I've played those on the PC. I don't like them.
I went down that Mindsuck area with 76 where I just got stuck creating stuff.
Now, I will say that once you play with it for about 5 to 10 minutes, it starts to feel intuitive, and you just kind of naturally start to figure out how to position the items in the game to get them to snap into place where you want them to go.
Right.
And I think that says something that without it's got a natural learning curve that's not terribly steep.
Right, like if
however, some of the requirements are kind of silly. Like
if you're trying to get your walls to line up or whatever, you
can center on it,
arrow like on the very edge, and it'll snap.
You can do that, and then
if you don't do that,
center.
There's
a centerpiece. So, and it took me a minute to figure out how to deconstruct too, because I forgot to hit escape. That I could look at the menu. I don't know why I forgot to hit escape. I hit every button on my keyboard.
Yeah, and it's your middle button.
Yeah, it's just deconstruct.
Just holding the
so
thing.
if you you need a scroll wheel. If you're going to do it, or at least a center button or a 3-button mouse. Yeah. But yeah, you hit in my case, it's the scroll wheel. You tap that, and it'll deconstruct whatever you put up by accident, which happened quite a bit in the first 10 minutes.
Like you try to get it in the spot, and then like you move the mouse just a little bit, and it goes click down here, and you're like, eh.
But on the blocks themselves are these little gold icons. You'll see all this in my review too. There's these little gold icons that appear that show you the center of the piece that you're trying to snap to, and if you move your cursor to the center of that piece, no matter where the piece is floating, if you move your cursor to the center, it'll snap that piece back into that center, and then you can rotate it, you can turn it what direction you want, and it will use that as a center, so basically as your axis. So it'll use that center block as your axis while you move your piece. So once you figure that out, building stuff becomes a lot easier. I was able to construct a house fairly quickly once I figured out how to do it. It was like snap, snap, snap. I was done. I burnt through more wood than I cared to even talk about. I'm sure you guys know about that. So, but yeah, overall, I really enjoy the game so far. Played through. The first boss was sufficiently challenging without being overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I died like 17 times.
I believe you. I did not die that much.
But the only reason I did that because I found out that to get the antlers that you need for the pick so you can mine, you have to kill him.
Yes. Well, to unlock the antler drops, you have to kill him. Right. Once you kill him, you do not have to keep killing him to get antlers. But it's actually I'm 90% sure it's a guaranteed drop. If you kill him, you get you get the antlers.
Yeah.
And you can spawn the bosses as many times as you want.
Yes,
which
and that's
is
what
cool.
they said. So it was like, I was like, oh, well, how do I get this pick back?
You just spawn them again.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So, and that's the other thing as well with different playthroughs and different styles. So you can kind of figure out what works best for you. Maybe you got really lucky and punched it to death. But you want to get another one. So this time you'll try it with a hand axe or the club or whatever.
See, when I fought
I
him,
accidentally got my hand axe skill really high.
accidentally, like, no, that's literally like my main weapon. I just started
the
using
club
my
is
bow.
more powerful and better. It actually does more damage, but you have to go around hitting monsters with it, or at least hit something that does damage.
Right. Just sit
I
there
got
and
my
hit a
unarmed
tree.
skill to 10 before I ever built an axe.
Yeah, no, like that was one of the things because
I punched buildings. I just punched walls until it was at 10.
just sit there to a tree. Just
And that was the other thing too. Once I figured I had like a Skyrim build system, like the more you use a skill, the better you'll get at the skill.
Right.
The more damage the skill will do, whatever the case is.
Right.
And so I was just spamming jump button. So now my jump skill's like 30, and I'm like jumping over the top of my house.
My
and stuff.
sneak is amazing because I literally just sneak everywhere.
See, I don't. My run skill is great.
My run is decent because I like run because I'll sneak all the way across the map and go, oh crap, I got to drop this off before because I'm going to get overloaded. Run all the way back.
Yeah.
So,
But like I said, fairly intuitive game for the most part. I have a couple of gripes with it, but it's still kind of in its early access phase too.
yeah.
And they're, from what I have understood, I've looked at their notes and their updates and things like that. They took, you and I talked about, they took away the ability for you to set fires under things, by the way.
Right, I've seen that. Because they have like a long list of stuff that they just updated, and that included reinforced trunks and a lot more like home lifey stuff.
Yeah. It was a little ridiculous when you would build something and then it would take an enemy 4 seconds to destroy it.
Right.
That's super annoying. And the worst part about it, well, like you're not paying attention. You just off somewhere. There's no warning. There's no nothing. You turn around and half your base is gone. You're like, what just happened?
Or you're like you get you're out farming or whatever, and it's like the forest has gone wild.
Yeah, and you turn around and you're just getting mob fucked. Sorry, language, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody's eating your lunch.
Yeah, they're snacking quite a bit. So, but overall, I enjoyed it. I'm continuing to enjoy it. As soon as we finish the show, I'll probably pop on and play for a little bit. It's a super fun game. And if you enjoy survival, crafting, adventure type games, you will enjoy Valheim. It's really cool. It'll suck you right in. And the availability of the lore is pretty cool too.
I mean, the fact that like you're like, okay, well, what is this area thing? And then, oh, well, look, there's a guide stone.
There's a guide stone to show you exactly what it is. And it pops up the runes, and then it
translates.
It's really cool.
So, it's
got some nice touches to it, I think. And I think they're heading in the right direction. Hopefully they continue to do that. But like they've been very responsive with their updates and the improvements to the game. And I think it'll continue to be that way.
Have you seen the videos though of like the people who like created a canal?
Oh yeah.
Like they dug through the entire continent and like connected the thing, and they're like, okay, well here's the last bit. I'm gonna chunk this piece here, and then they run all the way back across the continent to chunk that last piece, and then like they can sail their boat like through it and not have to sail around. And I tried that,
and then you died.
Yeah. Well, I trapped myself and I couldn't get out no matter how many times I couldn't die.
There's a trick whenever you're digging down. You always build up a big wall so you don't let the water fall on top of you. He just looks up and he's like, I'm going to drown.
I was like, I'm swimming and now I can't reach anything to get out of the hole.
Yep. You should have just drowned yourself so that way you'd spawn back at your bed.
I was just high enough that I couldn't use anything, but not heavy and not deep enough to exhaust myself to drown. I was like, no. That was 13 hours that I wasted on that character. I was like, I'll just delete him and I'll because the way they do the servers thing, I think is neat. Because you open your server and no matter how many characters you create, as long as you pick that server, they populate that server. So everything you've built before is still there.
Yes.
So if you get your character stuck at the bottom of a well and Lassie isn't there to pull you out, then you can like, well, okay, delete that guy.
See, I
of
would
my
have gone
stuff
to
is
save you. I would have spawned in that, and you would
Yeah.
have spawned in outer rain over there and been like, all right, let's get you out of here.
yeah, like
'Cause
here, dig your ramp.
you're an idiot.
Let's dig a ramp. Before
So yeah.
before mining, never flat wall it.
Right.
Always dig a ramp.
Yep. But yeah, it's good. I enjoy it, and I'm gonna continue to enjoy it. So.
That actually kind of leads us into the new.
The new MMOs.
The new MMO that's coming out. The Mortal.
I have not seen.
Their
Apologies.
their weapon and crafting system is amazing. You can customize, build everything. You can get the balance right. You can get you can change the blade shape. You can do like everything is custom made in the crafting their weapon. So you can make it like as cool as you want it to be for your own character. Of course, that's going to lead to people doing stuff like okay, well, here's this build right here to make this, and this is like a really powerful weapon, and it's perfectly balanced, and this, that, and the other. But you can build spears, pole arms, swords, short swords.
So kind of like a fantasy based type.
Yeah,
game
but
then.
no, like the mechanic though, in the sense of like you are forging your own weapon. So kind of like where Valheim is like you build your base, and you can do this and you can do that with all of these materials. They have that mechanic on like building your own weapons. Which to me, that's where it got me. I was like, I can't wait for this to come out. Like I put in for the alpha. Like I put in like hey, let me play this early. I got to get my hands on this because every bit of the thing is customizable. Like you can make your character be unique and carry like two-handed daggers. I mean, literally, like I saw somebody who made a two-handed dagger.
That's ridiculous.
And then, like, you choose your materials. Like, you can build a wooden sword and actually go out and beat people with a wooden sword.
Now this is Mortal.
Yeah.
Called? Okay. Just making sure, because I'm on here and I'm looking at a couple of different things. So that the graphics are. This is extremely early. You can tell.
Yeah.
This is very beta. But they've already got some stuff going on.
Yeah. No, it's set to be like the alpha. It's not even reached beta stage
Oh, really?
yet.
Okay. So yeah, it's still. It's still. But it's cool. Like so, it looks like you get spells, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely weapon building. The monsters look really unique. It's almost Skyrim-esque.
Yeah, I think it's built on Unreal. So you got that Unreal Engine look, which is to me, when it comes to like fantasy games and whatnot, looks amazing. Like the graphics are way better than any.
It does, and I like it. It appears to have different biomes.
Yes,
There are some pretty unique dungeon-looking settings. There's definitely the medieval aspect for sure, like 100% for sure. I can't tell what this is. Oh, that's supposed to be a horse. Okay. He says so. Apparently, there's some mounted combat as well.
Yes, you
but
can-
the
you
dungeons
can get
and
mounted.
Even the towns and stuff like that definitely reminds me of Skyrim. But
Well,
there's
that's what they're
a
talking about, like
desert
the
biome in it. The
pole arms are one.
the desert area looks freaking amazing.
You can actually craft your weapons to do better damage from horseback. So like,
Yeah, this is definitely interesting looking. Yeah, there's hand axes, there's full axes, there's bows, swords, staffs. There's all kinds of cool looking stuff over here. And then, like I said, there's a whole slew of magic use as well.
yes,
So
yes.
that's going to be neat.
I can't wait for it to get to see how it goes through, because you know me, I'll end up just sitting there being a blacksmith for whoever wants to come. Like let me make cool stuff for you. Here, just
I-
spend all my time making stuff.
So there are several races as well that you can choose from when you're creating your character. So one of them, the Shivra and Vila, they look mostly that kind of elf. They're elvish. That's the best way to describe them. With the Vila being more jungle esque, and the Shivra looking like they're maybe more urban. Excuse me. It's kind of gross.
Like city elves versus...
Right, and then you have the Sardukan, which just
Is
sounds
that
like
a fireball?
Yeah, it just sounds like a Street Fighter move, right? Sardukan! So, it is probably Sarduchan. But scattered among the sands, looks like they're the desert dwellers. They're very human-esque. I can't tell if they're all female or not because the pictures are showing them all female. But
Right.
that doesn't mean anything. The Callard, which are like your Norsemen. As a matter of fact, they're from the continent of Nordveld.
Nordfeld?
Which is literally Northland.
Right.
That's quite literally what Nordveld means. Northland. Okay. I mean, that's super generic, but okay. I'm there. You have the Sidoian, which they're tribal-esque warrior, kind of like Incans, maybe even like some Shaka Khan type clans, stuff like that. The Kurite, which look like Genghis Khan soldiers.
Right.
They look like the old Mongols. Tendramine Romans. That's the best description I can give you. Those dudes literally decked out in plate armor, standing next to a dude with a bed sheet on. That is definitely Roman. Thursar, which I don't. Sure. I don't know what that is. They're apparently. What is it? Crimes, blah, 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 blah. They look like gladiators. Like, that's kind of the way they're portrayed.
So they're like, Spartacus.
Yeah, and apparently they're slave race. So,
Well,
that
there
just
you go.
makes sense, yeah. The Blaine, which look like your goat people. Seriously. They look like goat people. This dude's got a...
Goat Squatch.
Yeah, goat squatch. Then you got the Hurogar. They kind of look like... you ever see those old fantasy pictures of the centaurs?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what they look like. They look like the centaurs, but they're ogre-ish at the same time, so it's a little bizarre. They worship Agama, goddess of stone and metal. So they're dwarves. The Huargar are dwarves.
Okay.
Yep. I'm literally reading the lore on it right now. That's exactly what they are. They're small stature, dense bone structure, heavy physique.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't sound like dwarf to me, right? Oh, and they got great night vision. I'm surprised D&D just hasn't gone ballistic and sued these people yet.
Well, no, because they stole them too. So,
That's very accurate.
So,
Well, Tolkien was already gone when this happened. So what were they going to do? But yeah, this actually looks really cool, and they've got a lot of it fleshed out already. There's an entire lore. I'm on the website, by the way. If you guys go to Mortal Online under Squarespace, it's just Mortal Online. You guys can actually look all of these things up for yourselves.
it looks amazing.
It does.
Like,
It looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Like,
extremely interested to find out how this game plays, and I might download the beta because I think my computer will handle it. There's factions.
Mm-hmm.
There's entire factions that you can go. So currently, right now, the best faction is the Exul faction because they have the highest reputation amongst all the other factions. However, the faction size definitely belongs to the Regalis. And then there's the Exul and then Impas. Which Impus? I don't know. Anyways, I'm sure that there's audio in the game that will tell me how to pronounce these words.
hopefully. But yeah, so just looking at it, like it definitely,
catches your eye for sure.
Now what it is going to be is I'm going to be broke
Yeah.
because I'm picking up New World.
Yeah.
Well,
you're either going to be broke or we'll never see you again. One of the two things is going to be accurate.
Well, you won't like as it sits now. I Grubhub and then I play Valheim.
Which is funny because I'm actually further in Valheim than he is.
On that. But yeah, so like we got the New World coming out. Mortal. I'm drop on that one. I'm interested in the other one. Unfortunately, I can't even remember. Oh, Ashes of Creation. That looked really, really cool to me, and I like the idea of like the PvP style setup in the sense like if you want to develop this new area, you have to, and it's adjacent to this other area that's developed, you have to go attack them and drop their development and build yours up. So like there's a lot of different pushing and pulling, and resources are scarce. You can actually mine out an entire area and it collapses, and the stuff that you do will actually impact the environment. So like that is a really cool thing that like between those three right there that we just talked about, all my money is gone.
No, I completely understand. So they just grabbed some information for New World because I know that's supposed to be coming out soon. I thought
August
31st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the very last day in August, you'll be able to pick up New World. It was supposed to be May because I remember you and I talked about that before, and I think it was set to May, but they just changed that. It's on a buy-to-play business model, too, by the way.
Yeah, it's not a subscribe.
Yep, that's pretty awesome stuff. I like that.
I do like the subscribe model. Like, you get the game for free, but you just pay monthly. Like, that's cool, too.
I think so. I think so
because that gives you a chance that you can test the game
and go, like,
I don't want it, and then
and not play it. But I get it. And Amazon is going to be that's their new foray.
Yeah.
Into the online, or not necessarily the online market, but into the video game world. So definitely allowing them to make their money back faster.
Yeah, they have they've had Lumberyard around for a long time because I played with it, didn't understand a darn thing about it. Tried to do some stuff that they had for like Team Fortress and all this other stuff, like I did with Valve. Because I tried using Valve and did a Team Fortress 2 clone and completely goofed that one up. So it was interesting, and I'm glad to see that they actually are producing something with their own engine that they developed, or had developed. You know what I mean?
Right, and it looks like it's going to be neat. It's based on the colonial Americas, which will be pretty interesting to see how that all plays out. Yeah,
like you're in the new world. Like the one thing that was brought up that I would like to see, and I agree with, is ship, like being able to sail and discover little islands and do that type of stuff. Sea travel.
Right.
Because I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, you sailed there. You should be able to sail around and discover. But that could be for expansion stuff that they put out in patches later.
Right.
You sea travel, age of the pirates, and once they figure out a mechanic to shoot each other in a boat.
Sounds like fun. I gotta get how to respond to that.
No, that's what made Black Flag for me so much fun. Was I ended up spending all my time being a pirate.
Yeah, there's apparently, by the way, if that's the gear that you're into, if that's apparently there's a game called Don't Sink.
Oh yeah.
I think it's still in its beta, but you can play the full game. And you basically just sail around from port to port. You build your pirate fortress, and you just randomly encounter things on the ocean. You have to balance your guns with your food and medicine, stuff like that.
That would be cool.
It's neat.
See, you don't get
to control the boat. You just basically choose what you're going to shoot at them, and it's kind of a static fight. There's animation, but it's pretty static. You just kind of sit there and face each other and shoot stuff at each other.
Because
that's why I liked 3 and Black Flag so much, because I got to spin around and I ram the boats and stuff. There's so much fun.
It's like, okay,
Ubisoft is a butthole, but they did that right.
It's like, okay, we'll drop anchor and we'll spin this thing on a top.
Yes. And middle of a storm, let's go.
my favorite thing was I called it my battleship maneuver from the movie.
Yep.
Full speed, and I drop everything and weigh the anchor, and then just spin and pivot and slide the guns right into boom.
Yep, and just fire away.
People are like, whoever's like on the other end, you just see this boat come up, and then like all of a sudden they're broadside, like immediately
Lighten you up.
Like I never play the games. I always just go out and find the things that I like about a game, and
that's what's really cool about that. And I think that's what Ubisoft did really well is somehow they made the mini game more fun than the actual game. But right? Speaking of Ubisoft, I have a bone to pick with Ubisoft and Steam and GOG, all these different gaming platforms. They're driving me up a wall because we have to move into these subscription territories in order to be able to get these games, right? So when I buy a game, I've purchased it. I've paid money for it. But the only way that I can magically... With Valheim is an exception, by the way. I'll give Steam a lot of credit. Like, it'll log you into Steam, but it's still actually installed on your computer. You can access it and play it whenever you want. You don't have to use Steam to get there.
And as you found out, you don't even have to be online. You can
correct, and you can play it offline, right? So I'll give them a lot of credit. But like Ubisoft and even GOG Games or GOG Galaxy, I think is actually. Well, I'll tell you what it is. Hold on.
Good old games.
Yeah, GOG, good old games right now. Yeah. But utilizing those servers is bizarre to me because I just want to buy the game, and I can go to the store and buy it and install it on my computer and it's there. Why do I have to log into Ubisoft to play a game? What happens when the Ubisoft server goes down? Can I still play my game that I paid for? No, I cannot.
Because they've gone down.
Right.
And, games unavailable.
And that sucks. And that's stupid. You should be able, once you've purchased the game, having it in your library is really cool. And I think, having a permanent copy in your library on your online account, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, but once I download it, it should be on my computer. That's the end of the story.
Right. That way, if you're like, okay, well, I just got a new laptop. I want to move things over.
Right.
Now I can just go to my online library.
And just re-download everything.
Re-download everything.
Exactly.
And maybe my saved game.
Yeah, and that's cool.
That would be cool too.
That'd be neat, So,
but it's not a requirement.
But having subscription services for things like that can be pretty burdensome, and that's why you guys should go on to geekpublicradio.com and subscribe to our wonderful website because that will give you access to all kinds of other features. And unlike those other guys at Ubisoft or Good Old Games and even Steam, you bunch of money grubbing bastaches, we offer you a wide array of services to go along with your I speak English subscription.
Sometimes.
So not only do you get the online interaction with me, Topher, and sometimes T, but you get access to our Discord. You get access to our archival footage that'll show you the original terrible versions of Sunday Night Madness, which exist,
and the terrible versions of Geek Public Radio, and
that gets you access to all kinds of those old videos. It'll even get you access to some of the bonus content that we can't put on YouTube because they're a bunch of freaking censorship hounds. I don't want to use the N word with the A, and that sounded just as bad, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah. The NAZ word. I don't want to use that because then YouTube would be like, they used the word. Demonetized. It's their favorite thing to do. But because they're a bunch of censorship hounds, we decided, hey, let's open up this website. Let's put out our content. Let's produce the stuff that we want to produce. Let's not worry about getting flagged all the time. Mm-hmm. We'll still be respectful, of course, because we want this stuff to air on YouTube. We want to still be able to use this platform. But anytime they want to pull the trigger and go, hey, you guys are no longer welcome, we'll go, ha-ha, see ya. And then we have our own stuff to put out. And they can't do
right. And that's a legit argument. And not just not because we're doing controversial subjects.
Because we're not.
But now with some stuff that got passed, us talking about somebody's copyrighted
material could get us flagged,
could get us removed,
which is stupid.
Doing game reviews and streaming some stuff, actually could be legal.
Speaking of big tech,
if it got pushed.
Speaking of big tech, by the way, Jack Dorsey. This is for all you. This is perfectly right up Geek Public Radio's alley because Section 230. And we're a part of a media company, so this is all very important to us.
We're not covered.
No, not technically.
Yeah, we have to curate our own.
Correct. We have to create our own platform. But at this point in time, any changes that they make to that could have an impact on what we do in the future.
Right.
But Jack Dorsey Mark Zuckerberg, and even Pinjay. I can never remember the dudes from Google. I can never remember his. It's Pinjay. Singh Pinjay, I think, is actually what it is. But they all got grilled on Capitol Hill, which was something else entirely. Again, right. On which they were asked, did they have anything to do with certain incidents that shall not be named? Jack Dorsey admitted that Twitter played a role in what happened.
Yep.
But on a broader sense, some other stuff what was going on. But that he kind of admitted that. And I was like, well, okay, that's weird. He didn't really admit it, but it was kind of like yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way apology.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really apologizing, but at the same time, it's probably the best you're going to get out of it. But was something that was actually kind of neat was to figure out that everybody knows, I think probably at this point, about Parler and how Parler was removed from Amazon's base.
And that it was competing with Twitter.
Yeah, and it was a direct competitor to Twitter. And
Twitter
they pulled
just signed the
Amazon,
deal
Apple,
with
Google,
Amazon.
they all pulled, right? They all pulled Parler from their services, citing that dangerous content, and some other stuff, right? I guess the CEOs of Parler and the moderators of Parler have now come forward because they were also being spoken to at Capitol Hill. They brought forth evidence that showed that they warned the FBI over 50 times before that incident occurred. Mm-hmm. And now it kind of begs the question.
Removed the content.
They were removing the content. They were
warned the
FBI. So they were actually in full compliance with FCC guidelines and with Section 230. And they were still pulled off. Yeah. So that's when we tell you guys about stuff.
Somebody brought up the thing that
big tech is a problem. So I want people to understand that too much technology and too much power for those big companies. They can easily we're nothing, and they can easily squash us. We don't do these things and talk about these things because we're trying to be flippant, and sometimes it is funny, and we like to make jokes because what else are we going to do? But these big boy companies will squash you if they feel threatened by you. And it's absolutely the truth.
And the thing
I don't want to get too political about it, but
well, it's like it doesn't matter which side of the aisle.
100%, that is correct.
Because they've proved that they will stop both sides of the aisle. Mm-hmm. They will censor both sides of the aisle.
They had
Young Turks got removed.
Yeah, they had what was the other? There was a competing app for Patreon, and I don't remember what it was called now. But it was it was basically another app that was very
they're still out there, but they're starting to pull people off of it too.
Yeah, they were starting to get big, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. They can't find them on the Play Store. You try to click on it, the website's not found. The server stopped carrying. It was nuts. So this stuff happens, people. Like we're not making
and that's
this
why
up.
we're on our own server that's not hosted in the United States.
Yep.
We have our own. We have our own CDN. We have our own stuff.
Yep.
And that's what we're building up from the beginning. But what I was saying about the interesting part for the stuff was when they had to admit that Twitter had just signed the deal with AWS to handle all of that stuff.
For those AWS, Amazon Web Service, for anybody who doesn't know that acronym.
And that Parler was a direct competitor already on AWS.
Yep.
And this happened, and now Twitter has the run of that thing. Like they're the biggest, Yep.
So, and it smelled really fishy to begin with, and I understand that people have their own opinions about it. And that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to have those.
Yeah, no, we're not telling you what to think.
Yeah, we're presenting you facts. These are the facts. This is what happened. Here's what went down. And these are the very suspicious circumstances that led to that moment. And for you to not question it, you are either willingly being ignorant or you just don't care, which that's fine.
Right.
Either one of those things, if that's what you want to be, that's cool. But
it's just like in the sense.
But don't present the argument back to me if you're not ready to hear the truth.
If you're,
that's all.
It's similar
Big tech sucks.
in my head of when the guys who do Candy Crush, what the name of that company?
The guys that do Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
But
I can tell you. Hang on. You keep talking. I'll tell you.
They found out that there was another candy game just like it that was out before they created the game, and they went up to like King They went up to the courts and petitioned the court to remove this person's copyright and trademarks.
Yep.
Because it interfered with theirs. When they were not the original people, like they were actually copying stuff from that game and used that guy's copyrights and stuff. They used their money because it's king, and they have all of these games, these mobile games.
Yep.
They actually convinced the thing that because they had more money, they were more successful than this. Literally, a guy who made the game out of just sitting in his office.
Yep. And that's just it. It's an extremely competitive market. It is an extremely cutthroat market. And if you have an idea that somebody can profit off of and they can run you over to get there, they will. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's another
reality.
instance going on that I'll tell you about after the show.
No problem. I still have some other stuff I wanted to talk to you about too. But in any case, so the purpose of us having our subscription service is to bring you the content we want to show you without having to worry about big tech censorship, because it is a thing. It hasn't affected us dramatically, but it kind of has in a way.
Yeah, we
and
got
I talked about that.
demonetized.
Yep, and I've talked about that before. Last week's episode, if you guys go watch that, we go into detail about it. Won't rehash it, but suffice to say, actions by YouTube for no reason whatsoever. And when I say that, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being serious. For no reason whatsoever, they decided to yank our video. We put it back up. It did not violate any community standards whatsoever. None, zip, zero.
It was literally showing new tech.
Yeah.
Literally all it was new tech.
It was a demonstration by the developer of the technology, the person who could give permission to show the quality or to show the technology was interviewed. And we were showing footage.
And that actually
we
has
had
stopped
permission.
us. That's actually been a crux and why we don't do a lot of interviews and stuff right now.
Yep.
Is we're still shaking off that.
And that was 3 years ago, and it still hurts. Like it is still a weight because I'm afraid to get certain interviews because I don't want to put myself out there and say, hey, we're going to be professionals and we're going to interview these people. Now, this time, we're armed a little bit better because we have our own platform. Now we have our subscription service. If you want to see this interview and if YouTube decides to pull it, good for YouTube. Doesn't matter. You can still find the interview, and we'll tell you exactly where to go to get there. And if we have to put out our own publication and spam it all over the network and pay for advertising to do it, then that's what we'll do. But that's our decision to make. And now we don't have to be at the mercy of a YouTube algorithm that's literally just a random bot that flags a video because it says a bad word.
Or like they don't understand. Like
Right, they don't understand the full context because it's an artificial intelligence that has no idea what's going on. They see, this, that, or this, and they, boom, flagged.
Right.
For no reason. So we're not taking any more chances. They're getting too big for their britches, and we would rather just do our own thing and not have to worry about it. And having Big Brother not watching you is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I say surrounded by all the technology they use to watch us. But that's for Sunday Night Madness. That's going to be a different video.
So
anyways, subscribe. geekpublicradio.com, man. Tell us in the comments what you guys think. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's
sorry.
fine.
That did not expect to go that direction whatsoever. But man, I'm kind of glad I did. I was gonna get that off my chest a little bit.
No, that's fine.
Also, be wary about entering business with your friends.
As you stand across from your friend.
You pay for everything.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You're my sugar daddy. There's a difference. But yeah. So, to get back into the geekier side of things, which I understand technology is a geeky thing, but to get back in the geeky stuff, Borderlands 3 has got their Season 2 pass, which is a little bit old. I understand it's probably a little bit old related news. But Borderlands 3 has released their Season 2 pass. On it, there's going to be some pretty cool stuff. They've got blah, 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 all kinds of neat new stuff coming out here. And I closed it because I'm a dingus. But anyways, so there's going to be some new DLC that's coming out. They're releasing Vault Hunter cards. They're going to be doing new raid bosses, new equipment, new skins, up to and including like the Ultimate Evo skins, which make the characters look nothing like their actual selves. Like they look completely different. It's really neat looking. So Lots of cosmetic changes, some new guns, new loot, of course, because there's already over 1 billion combinations of guns in there, so that's going to be neat. Trying to see the weapon adjustments they're going to be doing. So they've done some hot fixes that was done on the 11th. So about 2 weeks ago, they dropped a hot fix. But yeah, they're going to be releasing a director's cut. So there's a director's cut and a designer's cut. So it's going to be two different games. You get to choose which one you want to play at the time of the actual, like when you log in or whatever to the Borderlands to Gearbox, you'll be able to choose which one you want to play. Each one will have a different set of story, some nuance to the dialogue, to the interaction between the characters. So that would be kind of cool. But one of the DLCs, Ava's getting her own DLC, and I know Ava's just our favorite. She's our favorite character. But
I'm not sure if you sound
sarcastic enough.
Yeah.
Is the sarcasm not thick enough? Do I need to re-reach? But Ava's getting her own DLC. The good news is this DLC appears to be taking place on multiple worlds as opposed to just one centralized world where you'll hop on you'll hop on Sanctuary 3 and zoom off into space and you go find a new planet and it's got new monsters and new story and all this other stuff, but that doesn't seem to be linked into the overall arc of everything, whereas this DLC appears to be more story driven in the main line because it's taken one of the characters from the main story, it's interjecting her take on, I guess it's a murder mystery is what it's supposed to be. And you have to go to several different planets that are already in the lore as opposed to opening up a new planet. So it's going to be kind of revisiting old worlds and opening up new stuff there, which I think would be kind of neat, personally. But again, it's Ava, so yeah.
Yay.
So yeah, we got information for you. So to, I guess, sum up most of what we talked about. So we got
in summation,
we've talked about Mortal Online. We've talked a little bit about New World,
which, by the way,
we've covered Valheim extensively,
right? And we talked about the Borderlands thing,
and then Ubisoft subscription services and how big tech sucks.
Yeah, but with the New World, kind of to come back around to that,
because it's World. That was good. I like what you did there. That was good.
But they.
That joke fell flat, though.
They dropped 10 pages of updates on that patch.
That's ridiculous.
10
but
pages.
That's the mark of a good designer and a good developer, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like
is someone who listens.
They did a preview.
Yeah.
Everybody got on. Like one streamer had like 80,000 people watching as he was playing the preview.
That's pretty dope.
And they took all of those notes and all of that stuff and started changing. They added whole new areas. They added, they removed entire combat, skills and stuff, and then put new ones in. And like new fighting techniques and the new all of this stuff. And 10 pages just, when you're looking at like patch notes. So it's like bug fix here, fix this, change this.
I'm downloading the beta or the alpha for Mortal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do that too. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, you have Blizzard who doesn't seem to listen
ever.
Well,
that's the problem with bigger indie developers. They almost have no choice. Because their games will live or die on the community that they've built.
Right.
And if you don't listen to that community, they will leave in droves. Blizzard,
my favorite thing was BlizzCon, when they were like, hey, we're doing this, and here's this big announcement, and then they would get pushback. The developers didn't know how to react. They're like, well, You think you want, when people were calling, hey, you just literally cease and desisted all these vanilla servers that really weren't pulling anybody from you?
This might be important.
What's that?
So it's still in early access, but apparently Mortal Online is not available.
Oh, yeah?
It's Mortal Online 2.
Oh, yeah. Mortal Online 2. Sorry.
Yeah, my fault. I was wondering why this game looks so dang old. But this one's in early access right now, and I can't download it.
There should be
I tried.
I already signed up for as of like yesterday they had opened an alpha.
Right.
The alphas run for a couple weeks. Then they shut down, make their improvements, and then come back and then reopen for another section. So I already signed up. I didn't get an invite, but yeah, I'm just waiting for one of the alphas to open up so I can play. But no, like when you look at BlizzCon, and people were talking about, hey, there's a
listening. Keep going.
Like since you cease and desisted all of the vanilla servers to shut down, or the big vanilla servers to shut down, and was like working with the community and doing all this stuff. Why don't you bring back? Like the rumor was like you're gonna bring back vanilla,
right?
And, like do class, and they literally were looked at and like, you think you want that, but you really don't. And and right now, when they finally got around to doing it, it was popular. Like I remember like being a part of the beta and like the stress tests, like the server stress tests, where they were like, if you want, does everybody jump on now and let's overload this thing and see how many people we can put into the, it was a fun thing to run around and remember to do all, like all of this. You needed a flint and tinder and wood to make a campfire, and you needed to carry this stuff, and you needed to, you didn't get your mount until level 40 instead of like level 20, and all of this stuff that was interesting. And then of course, like the very last day of the stress test, as they were getting ready to turn the servers off, like everybody, as it was counting down to the server shut off, everybody gathered in like the major cities at the front gate. And like we're dancing and partying and doing all this stuff.
That sounds right.
One guy come running through the thing, and in the chat popped up like just as it hit like 3, 2. He was like, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel very good."
No.
And then server disconnected.
That's fantastic. Well, it's like what was it, Final Fantasy 14? Because initially, Final Fantasy XIV was done as a separate game than what you know now. Was a Realm Reborn, I think, is what it's currently called.
Right.
But at the time, Final Fantasy XIV was its own thing. It's just Final Fantasy XIV online, and you'd get together, you'd play with your friends and things like that. Well, there were so many bugs and so many issues with the game that they decided they were going to just nuke the old servers and reinstall it. So you lost your character, you lost all your stuff, but
you got a better game.
You got a better game, 100% a better game from what I understood. But it was really neat, like watching the video of the countdown, and it was an in-game event that caused the destruction of the world. So it was really cool that Square did that, and you got to watch it. It was basically a giant meteor, and so you just got to watch this meteor get closer and closer and closer to the Earth, or to the realm. Whatever, I don't even remember what the name of the place is called, to be quite honest. I used to play it all the time, but it was really cool. Like, and then watching the servers light up, and there were thousands of people online to witness the event, because it's a once in a lifetime event.
Right.
That's never going to happen again.
Hopefully,
with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
so they're watching this, and like the meteor comes down, and what's neat about it is a Realm Reborn references that old world and talks about the heroes, and it's really cool. So at the very beginning,
that would be cool.
At the very beginning, it gives you the story of this world and how it came to be, and it talks about the meteor that crashed down and how this is why it happened, but it gives it a lore aspect versus hey, we sucked at making this game, but we're really sorry. It was more like well, the gods couldn't decide. Which, if you just kind of read into it a little bit as a dungeon master, right, you're the god of that world. You get to choose what happens and what doesn't happen. So
that is pretty nifty.
It was kind of a nifty thing to do. So whenever a developer listens to their audience, like Square did, in this case, they really did. They listened. And instead of just pulling the plug and dropping the server, they turned it into a unique event. And I and they lost almost 0 subscribers from the event. It was a minimum. I think they lost a total of 40 or 50,000 across the world, which for
if you have like millions of people
and they did. I think they had 1 or 2 million like subscribers. So I mean
Right.
that's still like 5%, but when you're nuking an entire server and
that's
you're
still
nuking
less than what Blizzard loses after a big
after a big update.
after a big patch or a release, like the numbers balloon to come out and play the new stuff, and then when they played it and whatnot, they go back down.
Yeah, and that's cool. So we're doing some new stuff on the website. We're going to start getting some reviews and things like that. Like I said, Valheim will probably be one of the first reviews that we put up.
We've had movie reviews up.
Yeah, we've had movie reviews and stuff like that up, and I still plan on getting that review. I'll have the Krista and myself will have the review in for the Justice League Zack Snyder cut. It's a 4-hour movie.
Yes,
and with
it is.
my work schedule the way that it is and her sleep schedule, it's just not been conducive to a watching environment. So we've come up with a solution. Either we're going to have to watch it in segments, which is probably
you can watch it in chapters because it's actually broken down.
It is
as
broken down in
chapters.
chapters, so we might be able to watch it that way.
You can watch it like a TV series,
or just stay up all night and watch it. That's probably what we'll just end up doing.
Because I contemplated, I was like, I could watch it like a TV series. Like, okay, well, the chapter 2. Okay, well, I'll just save that for tomorrow. And
Yep. And so now this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about is Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
So I have installed Dead by Daylight, so I'm going to start playing that again. Apparently they've done a lot of updates, and the frame rates are better, the servers themselves are better, the matchmaking's faster, and the characters apparently are more responsive to controls. Even before, it was like super clunky doll-like controls. It was terrible. So I've re-downloaded that. I'll have a review for that soon. I understand it's a 5-year-old game, but whenever they update something like that, and to think that it's been out for almost 5 years, well, it's 4 years, I guess, realistically. That's been out for 4 years, and they're still updating their servers, and they're still providing new content. That's kind of cool, and so I'd like to reward it with a fresh take and a fresh review. So I'll have that out there soon. So I'll have Valheim, there'll be a Dead by Daylight review, and whatever games I can futz around with on Steam, because I plan on doing that. And there'll be PC reviews, mind you.
Good.
Except for... obviously, Dead by Daylight, I'm not going to be playing on a PC. Most of my first-person shooters, I'll never play on PC. PC Master Race is garbage. You heard it here first.
No.
Yeah,
PC
is.
rocks.
It does not, though.
Yes.
This is coming from the man who's allergic to half the planet. PC Master Race. I'll let you decide.
Well, when you have you can hack NASA.
That's true. I can't hack NASA from my PlayStation. I do need my trusty old laptop for that. So, all right. So I don't have anything else, man.
I think that
pretty good.
This is two shows in a row that we've done that has covered MMOs. So I think we've MMO'd out.
Yeah, I think we're MMO'd out. I think we'll switch some topics. But I think
my pocket says hopefully, because like if I get involved in any more MMOs, I'll have to get a third job.
Right. So the reason I brought up Dead by Daylight is I plan to start reviewing some horror type games in order to bring those forward to the Geek Public Radio family, because that is something we love. We're big Cthulhu fans. We love some Lovecraftian horror themes.
Oh yeah.
So I'd like to bring some of the horror aspect back.
There's a couple other games that I would like you to take a like Sunken.
Yeah, just send them in to me, and we'll get them. I'll get them downloaded, and I'll get them played.
Okay,
that's what we're gonna do. So, lots of content coming, guys. We've got our office established. We've got our team.
As you can see, like
set.
we are in the brand new.
Yeah.
Like you seen with the Sunday Night Madness that we were in a new place.
Yep.
Now
we
were
expanded.
We were now actually in the new studio space.
Yep.
That was just a placeholder to get us set up in here. And you're going to see set design stuff change and stuff behind us and whatnot. But welcome to the Terror Dome.
Yep. It is on, baby. So we're gonna be doing all of those things for you guys. So now that we've got an officially established office, we've got our studio. It is now time for us to sit down and we're gonna start smashing out some reviews. We're gonna start pumping out some game stuff. We're gonna get the Twitch account back up and running, so you'll be able to see us do live streaming games and stuff like that.
And we'll be live streaming for members only sections too. So.
Absolutely. So you're not going to get all that content on YouTube. You're not going to get all that content on any other streaming platform, on Tubi or on whatever, our MeWe or whatever the crap it's called. But you will be able to find that exclusively on geekpublicradio.com. And
as
just a
well
subscription
as
service.
some fictional stuff that we have.
Original videos.
Yeah, coming up, like original movie style. Content that you won't find on any.
And we're going to give you guys TikTok stuff too. So look forward for that.
On those TikToks.
Yep. So and we're going to start attaching all of our social media stuff to the videos, so we don't have to consistently spam it. We'll just boom, here's our social media stuff.
Yeah, as soon as I can get that all,
we'll embed it. We'll figure it out.
As soon as I get that copied into a text document.
Right. It's a pain in the ass to embed. So it's really not that hard. It's just we're terrible at remembering stuff.
Right. Because 5 minutes later, we're like, oh, did we say that? No.
No, of course not. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Chris, take us home, buddy.
All right. So this has been Geek Public Radio on geekpublicradio.com. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Twitter. You can check YouTube is username Geek Public Radio. Twitter at Free Geek Radio. On Facebook is just Geek Public Radio. And we are now on Minds. And we are getting ready to be on Odyssey and a few others. So when we get all of those things settled out, there will be no place that you will be able to not get at least some content from us. So,
and if you don't want to watch a video and you're more of the traveling type, rolling around in your truck or driving down to Texas, or maybe you're going coast to coast, absolutely tune us into anywhere that you get your podcast. And I mean anywhere that you get your podcast. Type in Geek Public Radio and you will find us there waiting for you to accompany you on your long journey. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.